1994.
Maybe I don't really want to know how you got.
Quite simply, 1994 was a bizarre of the bizarre. Baseball came to a screeching halt as players went on strike. 45-year-old George Foreman again reigned as the heavyweight champion 20 years after Muhammad Ali had dethroned him. And Tonya Harding's gang mugged figure skater Nancy Kerrigan, who recovered in time to spin and soar to a silver medal at the Winter Games in Lillehammer. Brazil won soccer's World Cup over Italy in an unprecedented penalty kick shootout. 3-2 after 2 hours of a 0-0 tie. 18-year-old Eldrick Tiger Woods emerged as the youngest golfer and the first black player to win the United States Amateur. And LA police chased O.J. Simpson's Ford Bronco for over 1.5 hours before he eventually gave up, seen on live television. Pulp Fiction, directed by Quentin Tarantino and starring John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson, premiered.
Pulp Fiction.
Disney's animated musical film The Lion King opened in theaters.
It does.
And Forrest Gump,
I'm Forrest Gump.
directed by Robert Zemeckis and starring Tom Hanks, was released.
Run, Forrest!
Hey, stupid!
Run!
British band Oasis released their debut album, Definitely Maybe, becoming the fastest-selling album ever in the UK. ER and Friends debuted on NBC, establishing NBC's dominance of the Thursday night lineup. And the Super Bowl halftime show, Rockin' Country Sunday, featured performances from Tanya Tucker and Travis Tritt. 1989. A number of uprisings took place around the world, with unhappy citizens taking to the streets and, in some cases, taking up arms to try to change or remove their governments. A student-led pro-democracy demonstration in China's Tiananmen Square was violently crushed. And the Berlin Wall and the East German government both were dismantled, leading to the reunification of East and West Germany. The first of 24 satellites of the Global Positioning System was placed into orbit. Nintendo released the Game Boy, and the Sky Dome, now known as Rogers Centre, was opened in Toronto. The Simpsons premiered on Fox TV as a full animated series with the episode Simpsons Roasting on an Open Fire.
Oh, jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin lays an egg. The Batmobile broke its wheel, the Joker got a Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Movies Dead Poets Society, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and Batman all premiered in theaters, while Do the Right Thing, directed by Spike Lee, premiered at the Cannes Film Festival.
Always do the right thing.
That's it?
That's it.
I got it. I'm gone.
Pete Rose was suspended from baseball for life for gambling. 5 days after hitting a home run for the Yankees in a 12-2 win over the Mariners, MLB and NFL player Deion Sanders returned a punt 68 yards for a touchdown, his first. Madonna's Like a Prayer premiered in a worldwide Pepsi commercial.
Make a wish.
And Cher's If I Could Turn Back Time first hit the airwaves. (1984). 1984 was a banner year in history. The original Apple Macintosh personal computer went on sale, which was more expensive than several other competitors' models, but it still sold well despite the higher price. Its success may have been due to the iconic advertisement for its release, which aired during the Super Bowl. The Ridley Scott-directed Orwellian-themed 1984 ad is considered to be one of the greatest commercials ever created.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
The AIDS virus was first identified. Tetris dropped its first block. And fast food company Wendy's launched its TV ad titled Fluffy Bun, but it soon earned another nickname, Where's the Beef?
Hey, where's the beef? I don't think there's anybody back there.
You want something better. You're Wendy's kind of people.
Alex Trebek first moved behind the Jeopardy podium, beginning a record-breaking run as a game show host.
The host of Jeopardy, Mr. Alex Trebek.
Supernatural comedy Ghostbusters, starring Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, was released.
Batman, what happened? Are you okay?
He slimed me.
And Bruce Springsteen's seventh studio album, Born in the USA, was released. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar broke Wilt Chamberlain's all-time career scoring record with 31,421 points. And Wayne Gretzky scored twice as the Edmonton Oilers beat the New York Islanders 5-2 for a 4-1 series win, the Oilers' first Stanley Cup title. 1979. This was the International Year of the Child, and a year that truly changed the world. Joe Clark became the 16th Prime Minister of Canada, replacing Pierre Trudeau. Trivial Pursuit was created by Canadians Chris Haney and Scott Abbott. And Torontonian Lorne Michaels started Broadway Video, a company that would go on to produce shows like The Kids in the Hall and Saturday Night Live.
Behind every successful man, there's a woman, a loving, giving, caring woman. But you wouldn't know about that, Dan, because there's no old saying about what's behind a miserable failure.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
Future Basketball Hall of Fame forward Magic Johnson made his debut for the Los Angeles Lakers. The NHL's greatest scorer, Wayne Gretzky, scored his first NHL goal. Sony introduced the Sony Walkman, costing $200. A Voyager 1 photo first revealed Jupiter's rings. McDonald's offered the first Happy Meal.
It's food and fun in a box.
Nobody can do it like McDonald's can.
And Black & Decker released the now famous cordless mini vacuum, the Dustbuster. Pink Floyd released the multi-award-winning concept album, The Wall, selling 6 million copies in 2 weeks. The Cure released their debut album, Three Imaginary Boys, and the single, Rapper's Delight, launched hip-hop as a multi-billion-dollar phenomenon.
I said the hip hop, the hip it to the hip hop. You don't stop the rockin' to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie beat.
Alien, directed by Ridley Scott and starring Sigourney Weaver, was released. Scrappy-Doo was first added to the cast of Scooby-Doo.
Hi, I'm Scrappy-Doo.
And Star Trek, the motion picture, the first movie of the cult classic series, premiered.
This, then, is the epic journey of the Starship Enterprise. Star Trek, the motion picture.
1974. After the findings of the Watergate scandal, Richard Nixon became the first U.S. president forced to resign from office. Isabel Perón became president of Argentina, the first woman president in the world. And Ralph Stenhour became the first Aboriginal person to be a Canadian lieutenant governor when he was appointed lieutenant governor of Alberta. Evel Knievel attempted to jump the Snake River Canyon in Idaho, but failed escaping with minor injuries. Jack Nicklaus won the inaugural PGA Tournament Players' Championship. Ray Kroc, CEO of McDonald's, bought the San Diego Padres baseball team for $12 million. And on October 30th, the much-hyped boxing match known as the Rumble in the Jungle between George Foreman and Muhammad Ali took place in Zaire, with Ali regaining his heavyweight boxing title with his now famous rope-a-dope tactics. Fort Edmonton Park was established. Northlands Coliseum opened. And ITV, now known as Global Edmonton, was born.
Edmonton happens on ITV.
Steely Dan released Ricky, Don't Lose That Number. Jaws by Peter Benchley was published by Doubleday. And Mel Brooks' film Blazing Saddles, widely regarded as the most audacious comedy of his directing career, opened in movie theaters to critical acclaim.
Okay, folks, let's wild out!
The heroic sheriff rallies his citizens in the wildest finish the West has ever seen.
1969.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night.
From Woodstock and A Man on the Moon to the Manson murders and the Stonewall riots, 1969 was a tumultuous and eventful time. Sesame Street, known for its iconic Muppet characters, made its debut on PBS. Bell-bottom jeans and tie-dye shirts became part of the teenage fashion scene. And hundreds of thousands of young people gathered in New York's Catskills Mountains for a music festival that became a cultural milestone. The Beatles recorded Abbey Road, their final album together, and also performed in public for the last time on the roof of Apple Records. The first Concorde test flight was conducted in France. The Boeing 747 jumbo jet made its debut, and the U.S. Air Force closed its Project Blue Book, concluding there was no evidence of UFOs. Brazilian soccer icon Pelé scored his 1,000th goal. 41-year-old Detroit center Gordie Howe became the oldest player to score an NHL hat-trick.
Gordie Howe shoots one. He did it! First Dave Dion, and now number 9, Gordie Howe drills one to the upper corner, and he gets a standing ovation.
And the Montreal Expos baseball team made its debut, Major League Baseball's first team to be established outside of the United States. FLQ terrorists bombed the Montreal Stock Exchange. Both English and French were recognized as official languages by the federal government. And one of man's crowning achievements occurred when American astronaut Neil Armstrong became the first human to set foot on the moon and uttered the immortal words,
"It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind."
1964. This was an eventful year. Humans were making strides towards space travel beyond the Earth's orbit. The Warren Commission report on the assassination of President John F. Kennedy concluded Lee Harvey Oswald had acted alone. The Beatles took America by storm, making their first appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show, and Beatlemania went into overdrive as they released a series of #1 hits, including I Wanna Hold Your Hand. Other British groups also found success, including the Rolling Stones and the Animals, and together with the American talent of the Supremes and Bob Dylan, Many say this was one of the greatest years for music in the 20th century. Gilligan's Island, starring Bob Denver as Gilligan, debuted on CBS.
The mate was a mighty sailing man, the skipper brave and sure. 5 passengers set sail that day for a 3-hour tour, a 3-hour tour.
The Addams Family premiered on ABC. And the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer classic Christmas special first aired on NBC.
What I'm trying to say is, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
Northern Dancer became the first Canadian horse to win the Kentucky Derby. A new Canadian flag won the approval of Parliament. And the first Tim Hortons coffee and donut shop opened in Hamilton, Ontario.
Yes, Tim Horton Donuts, Ward, and it's very nice to be able to let me get a word in about it.
1959.
Well, that'll be the day when you say goodbye. Yes,
Many consider 1959 as the year that first signaled change for the future. From science and technology came the birth of the microchip. Xerox launched the first commercial copier. De Beers manufactured the first synthetic diamond. And the far side of the moon was seen for the first time, courtesy of the USSR's Luna 3 space probe. The Bozo the Clown live children's show first aired on TV.
Who's your favorite clown?
Hey, that's me!
Disney's Sleeping Beauty was released. And Some Like It Hot with Marilyn Monroe and Jack Lemmon premiered.
Good night, sugar.
Good night, honey.
On February 2nd, Buddy Holly made his last performance as a plane crash near Clear Lake, Iowa on February 3rd claimed the lives of rock and roll stars Holly, Ritchie Valens, and J.P. the Big Bopper Richardson. Montreal Canadiens goaltender Jacques Plante became the first NHL netminder to wear a protective face mask. The new home of the San Francisco Giants baseball team was officially named Candlestick Park, and the Daytona 500 auto race was first run at the Daytona Speedway. The iconic religious, epic, and award-winning film Ben-Hur premiered, starring legendary actor Charlton Heston.
This is the day.
And Ed Wood's cult classic, Plan 9 from Outer Space, called one of the worst films ever, hit theaters. 1949. After many years of misery through the Depression and World War II, post-war prosperity was starting to get underway, with companies able to supply the cars, televisions, and other goods demanded in a consumer society. With some 6.2 million new cars sold and nearly 100,000 TV sets bought each week, a new type of TV program appeared called soap operas. The name coming from the many soap manufacturers sponsoring the shows.
The Brighter Day. Brought to you by Cheer, new Blue Cheer, the only suds with the blue magic whitener.
And the first daytime soap to debut was called These Are My Children. China became a communist country. Apartheid became official government policy in South Africa, and Russia detonated its first atomic bomb. The Volkswagen Beetle, the people's car, was first sold in North America. The Polaroid camera, priced for $89, was introduced, and the first 45 RPM vinyl records were sold. Frank J. Zamboni invented the Zamboni ice resurfacing machine. Silly Putty and Candyland were introduced. The Basketball Association of America and National Basketball League merged to form the NBA. And Lovesick Blues by Hank Williams was the Billboard Song of the Year.
I got the lovesick blues.